when it comes to form conversion rate optimization, most of people think that it's just a matter of making prettier and reduce the number of fields we ask on your form. But the truth is, it's a wrong way to tackle this issue, because when you publish a form on your website or whatever, your goal is to collect a specific number of information that will help you move a contact from his current lifecycle stage to the new one. So you can't reduce the number of information, because if you need this information, you need to collect them at some point. So in today's video, I will show you two things. First, I will show you how to create an optimized form from A to Z using HubSpot and all the relevant features. But before that, I will present you my theory on how to make an optimized form that match your business needs. So if you don't know me, I'm Greg. I'm a HubSpot expert for more than 10 years now, and I publish weekly videos about how to use HubSpot the best way you can. So if you want to get better at using HubSpot, I really recommend you to subscribe to this channel. Now that said, let's start to see the theory behind a form that is optimized for conversion. And in order to present you this theory, I created a short program that will show you the three main pillars for an optimized form, which are the asked information on your form, the perceived value of what you will give after the form submission, and then and only then the form design. So first, let's talk about the asked information, because the first thing you need to do when creating a form is to ask, why are you creating this form? What's the goal of this form in your global marketing strategy? And basically, the goal of this form will determine which fields you need and which field you don't need yet. For instance, if the goal of this form is to generate newsletter subscribers, you might just need to ask the email address. You don't need their first name, last name, phone, company, budget, etc. because it's really early in the lifecycle stage of your contact. But if you want to convert this subscriber into a lead, you might need to ask him first name and last name in order to start a communication with him. Then if this form is meant to create MQLs, you might want to have more information, phone numbers, company website, to be able to start doing their research, start making some calls, etc. SQL, you might need even more information, and for opportunity, like to create a deal, you might even want more and more information, such as the decision maker, the pain points, the date of renewal, etc., etc. The first thing you need to do is to understand where this form is going to be placed in your marketing strategy and list all the fields you need to make this form field its goal. And then we move to the second pillar, which is the perceived value. Basically, when it comes to fill a form, a visitor on your website will do a really basic math equation. Is the value I will receive by giving my personal information to this website will be higher than the cost of me giving my informations. If for a newsletter, which is a really low perceived value for a visitor, you ask everything like his budget, his number of employees, company name, etc., etc., it might not be a good opportunity for your visitor to fill this form. That's why you might only be able to ask the email address. But now, if you provide the ebook after the form submission, you might be able to ask a bit more, because the perceived value of the ebook is way higher than a newsletter. Then for a calculator is even more, because you need actually proper data to be able to do the calculation your calculator is doing. And for free training, if you provide like hours of video content for free, it might be fair for you to ask a bit more information about his company size, in his industry, etc., etc. And then for live demo, you want to tailor a demo based on their company needs. And for quote requests, it's even more, because at the end of the quote request, you need to be able to deliver a quote. So you need a lot of information. So basically the process is you list the information you need, and you will match this form with a content or a proposal that will match the value of those information for your visitor. And only then you can focus on the form design. So once you list all your information and you have a lead magnet that match this value, you will have this kind of weird form, and it's not the most appealing. And that's what people think about convert rate optimization. And yes, that has an impact, obviously, so you will need to play on the design of your form in two different aspects. The first one is the UI, like the proper design, like visual design of your form, and you can try to make it more beautiful or more like branded based on your company brand. But the other way of optimizing the design of a form is to make it easier for the visitor to fill. So you have different ways to do it. You can use multi-step, you can have like dependent logic, like if he put this information then another field is showing, or you can even hide fields because you might be able to collect those information in a different way. So you go from this kind of form to this kind of form, which is way easier for the prospect to fill. And those little technique is what we are going to see now in the HubSpot form editor. Now that the theory is done, let's see how concretely create a form in HubSpot. So in all your HubSpot portals, you will be able to go to Marketing tab, go to Forms, and you will arrive in this specific page that lists all the different forms you already created. Then to create a new one, you just need to click on Create Form, and you can choose between the legacy form editor or the new form editor. The new form editor has way more design possibilities, so I will really advise you to start creating with this one, because at the end this one will disappear anyway. You click on Next, and you can choose a template. So templates are already pre-made designed form. But for the exercise of today, we will just start from scratch to show you that we can replicate all of those by ourselves anyway. Here we are in the HubSpot form editor, and the first thing we see is that it's really like visual and really easy to navigate. The first thing we want to do is to list all the information we need. So to do so, we need to add more properties in our form, and you click on plus, you will go to properties and you will start filling them. It's better to use properties than fields, because fields will look like that. You will first put a field, they will ask you to connect an existing property and choose it. If you don't have it, we will ask you to create a new one, and you don't want to do that because you don't want to create new properties in a form. You want to think about the property creation beforehand. So let's add all the information we need. Let's say we have first name, last name, email. We want to ask for his phone number. Apparently we need his personal street address and city. Then we want to ask questions about his company, but as you can see, it might be a bit too long on this specific page. That's why one of the first optimization we can do is to create a multiple step form. And then we can see that here it will be contact information, and here it will be company information. So we will just add a step, go to company properties, and we will start to ask for different information. So I want his company name, I want his company domain name, I want his LinkedIn company page. Let's say I want his number of employee, and its industry. Say I want one more information, which is his pain points. So I can click here and add my pain point property I would have created before and ask him directly what is your pain point. So he will be able to choose between budget, time, and knowledge. And of course, pain point is a bit weird, so you can change the label saying what is your biggest pain point. So I guess now we have a good amount of information we want to optimize. We already divided it into 2 pages, but we will go way more beyond that. So to give you an idea, for now our form looks like that. You have 1 page, and when you click on next, you have a second page, and then you can submit. Let's try to reduce it a lot using HubSpot features. The first thing we can do is to hide specific fields. If every contact that will fill this form have the same answer for something, we can hide it and automatically populate it. For instance, our biggest pain points, we want our CRM to be able to identify which lead has a budget pain point. And that's a chance, because let's say that this form is a form to download a lead magnet or to solve your budget pain. So you know that every people that will fill this form have this pain points. So you want to collect this information, but you don't need to ask them. You can simply already tick it and hide it. That way, HubSpot will not display this information. You can see it's transparent right now, but it will be part of the answer of the form submission. So this new contact will be tagged as pain point is budget. You can use this hidden field for a lot of different cases, such as the UTM parameters. Maybe you do some ad campaigns and you have tracked URL with UTM term, content, source, media, etc. You can directly implement them in your form to collect this information without showing it to the visitor. So you just need to add them. So you have UTM source, term, content, medium, and campaign, and you can decide to hide them. The good thing is if they are coming from a regular URL, nothing will happen. Those fields will stay blank, but if they come from a tracked URL, automatically all those fields will be populated with the good data. So you will be able to identify exactly where this lead is coming from. So with simply using the hidden field feature, we managed to reduce the list of questions by 1 and to add 6 more information that we will collect about that lead. So that's the first way to reduce the field without losing information and even getting more information actually. But we can do more things. The next thing I want to show you is the conditional logic. So if you click here in the logic, you can add logic. It will just create if-then condition. So for instance, if this property is known or have this specific value, then you can show or hide other properties. So let's say we want to reduce the number of appearing properties. We can say that as long as city doesn't have value in it, we don't ask for street address. So what you can do is choose city. So if city is any of as a value, then we show the field street address. We save and activate. We make sure city is a required field. So they need to fill this information before going to the next one. And when we preview, we can see that street address doesn't appear, but as soon as I type something, the street address appears. Obviously, we can make it for this page as well. As long as company name doesn't have value, we don't display all those information, but I want to show you something else to reduce those information you will ask. Regarding those information, you need to understand that HubSpot has something called data enrichment, and that's a feature that allows HubSpot to seek for information about a specific contact or mostly on a specific company and find information without us asking our leads directly. For instance, if you already create a contact with a professional email, you notice that automatically HubSpot will use the domain name of the email address and create an associated company using this domain name. So let's say thomas@hubspot.com. If I create this contact, HubSpot will understand hubspot.com. We use this domain address to create the company HubSpot, and HubSpot, if you click on data enrichment, will be able to collect a lot of information about this company by seeking on the web. To know exactly what can HubSpot get as an information, you just need to go to random company, click on actions, enrich records, and you will see every information HubSpot is able to collect directly without us asking a specific visitor for. So for instance, it will collect automatically LinkedIn company page, company name, annual revenue, number of employee, and website URL. So when we go to our form, now that we know that if a contact has a professional address, and we can force it by simply clicking on email and block free email providers, we don't need to ask the company name, we don't need to ask the company domain name, we don't need to ask for the LinkedIn company page, neither the number of employee or the industry. So we don't need this page at all, and basically just by asking a professional email address, we get all this information that we asked for. And a last way to collect information is the smart properties. So let's say it's a form to generate a quote, so I might need the VAT number of this specific contact's company. I could directly ask the visitor what is the VAT number of your company, or you can create what HubSpot calls smart properties, which are properties that are powered by AI. So basically, you create a property. For instance, I created VAT number AI. You say that this property will be filled using data agents. You can choose how it will get this information, code transcript, property data, company website, web research, and you can prompt or ask HubSpot to write the prompt for you. And at the end, you will be able, by using web research, identify the company's VAT number based on its official name, blah, 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 to get the VAT number of a specific company by triggering this smart property launch. So for instance, we try with Airbus and we have the Netherlands VAT number of Airbus. So I will make a full video on how smart properties works, but what I want you to understand today is that you don't need to ask this information if you can collect it with AI. Of course, every time you use this agent, it will cost you credit, but depending on the volume of the new leads entering your CRM, it might be something that doesn't cost you anything. So now we can start taking care of the design of the form. And I'm not the best person for it because I'm really bad at design, but everything you need is under styling. You can change the font, the size, label color, etc, etc, etc. You can change the color of the button. So for instance, you can choose this color. You can make the corner less round. You can even drop a shadow, change the color of the shadow. You can like do everything you want to make it match your brand, and you will be able to modify the text, the button, the paragraph, the heading, the background, the progress bar, etc, etc. Another thing you can do is to add, as we saw before, a heading, another text or an image to make it more conversational, or you can even add a layout with different combination. You can add like this one, either choose a background color. Let's try something like that. Once again, design is not my strength, or you can upload a specific image that will show up instead of this background. And once everything is done, before publishing it, you can also create automation. Like let's say it's an ebook form, you can create a simplified workflow to automatically send the email with the link after the submission of this form. And you can check the parameter, making sure that it matches exactly what you want. And once every different settings are verified, you can click on review and update, and you will be able to get the embed code to copy paste on your website, and you will be able to start collecting leads. I hope this HubSpot form editor walkthrough was clear enough. If it's okay, don't forget to put a thumbs up to this video and to subscribe to don't miss any new videos. I'm working on a new guide that will help marketers using HubSpot the best way, and this video is one of the examples. If you want to be notified and get this guide when it's ready, you can find a link in the description below that will let you ask this guide for free. It was Greg, I wish you a great week and see you next Monday.